Doctor Who experience was 2 years in the making. It required 150,000 construction hours and consumed over 20 miles of cabling. It was forged by a close-knit family of designers, set builders, restoration specialists, animators and installation experts, all eager to bring you and the world of Who together in space and time.
Hello everyone!
Everything about this project has been a challenge, but a really enjoyable challenge. What has been so brilliant about it is that everybody involved just loves Doctor Who.
I wanted to actually put the visitors into a storyline, actually into a story of Doctor Who, so the visitors were actually going into an episode.
This is the story of how BBC Worldwide opened the doors of the TARDIS and invited you inside for the voyage of a lifetime.
Please don't panic.
Everything's fine.
To bring the immersive adventure aspect of the experience to life, BBC Worldwide turned straight away to the makers of the Doctor Who TV series.
The thing I most want to do is go and see it with my kids, really, and see what they think of it. And if it grabs them, I think it will. I think we've got something really good and really special there.
Everything is fine, really, I promise.
The storyline for the new Doctor Who adventure called for authentic sets to be designed and built, and that meant calling on Cardiff Theatrical Services, makers of many of the TV show's sets.
Well, we've been tasked to build several of the zones for the new Doctor Who experience that's going into Olympia. This is the corridor connecting the TARDIS to the Dalek encounter, and then we're going to be in a situation here where the Emperor Dalek is going to appear through this door, and then behind you then, the other Daleks are going to appear through these other doors. To my knowledge, it's the first type of experience for where the public are going to be really up close and sort of intimate and be able to walk around in the TARDIS and the Dalek encounter that's behind us. So I just think it's going to be a wow factor all the way through it.
From their own research, BBC Worldwide knew that being inside the TARDIS topped the wish list for many Doctor Who fans. So creating a replica of the 11th Doctor's TARDIS became a key element of the project.
Having been involved in building the TARDIS the first time round, predominantly the centre console and all the props that are involved with the TARDIS, I had a fairly good idea of what it should look like. The design for the TARDIS was obviously to use things that people haven't really seen before. So a lot of things were bought that were one-offs, which makes it even more difficult the second time when you come in to try and find them again. So a large majority of the bits and pieces on here, we've had to make replicas from various different materials to make it look like the real thing. What we're looking at here on the computer is a picture of a fuel cap that's on the original Matt Smith TARDIS. We don't know where it's from, so what we've had to look at doing is actually building it from scratch. Basically, holes have been drilled out, marked up to create the dimpled effect, and then on the sanding machine, taken back to give it the curved top that you see in the actual photo there. So obviously, it'll be eventually finished with a grey, and then probably a lacquer to give it that sort of shine that you'd get off a metal. Once it's painted, obviously, that'll create what we see in the picture.
In order to deliver an immersive experience, the adventure episode had to move people, emotionally and literally.
We're building a big floor platform around the TARDIS console. The whole of this floor lifts up on 3 hydraulic rams and starts to tilt and move in an uncomfortable way, which makes them think they're starting to travel through time and space. The difference with this over, say, working on a film is that the items you're building have to last years and not minutes in a studio. That's the big difference. So you're making doors that open and shut. Well, in a studio, you'd probably have 2 stagehands out of shot pulling bits of string. In this instance, the whole thing has to be electronically controlled. It has to have fail-safe mechanisms. It has to be built, to a level of sophistication that means it can physically last for years.
The creators of the Doctor Who experience wanted the audience to step inside an episode of Doctor Who. So what better way to round off the adventure than having the story step off the screen in glorious stereoscopic 3D.
I've been putting together the entire stereoscopic sequence for the Pandorica chamber, which involves lots of animated characters, Cybermen, Weeping Angels, TARDIS, Daleks. It's all kind of going into this minute-and-a-half sequence. We start with basic, simple shapes, basic cube, and then just extruding bits and then adding more bits in until you kind of can start making it look something real. There's our model Cyberman. I can whiz all around him. We can add some control curves on these, which basically mean we can move this skeleton around. So if you can see here, I can start shaking his hips. If I go back into the other scene, this is the shot which from the storyboards with our kind of key moment. The idea is he's going to come out and grab the audience, so hopefully the audience will be a little bit scared.
Down the decades, the Doctor Who TV series produced a staggering number of artefacts, including iconic costumes, consoles and K9s. The job of honouring the work of so many programme creatives went to veteran Doctor Who designer Mike Tucker.
We're here at Ealing Studios, which of course is where some of the very early stories were actually made. What we've been asked to do for the Doctor Who experience is take some of the classic show monsters that have been on display at various locations around the UK, assess what condition they're in and put them back as close to how they would have looked when they were taken out on location.
With all the elements beginning to slot into place, the focus turned to the experience space and the job of turning 4,000 square metres of nothing into a galaxy of Gallifreyan glee.
So this is the reception area where they arrive.
The doors open and people walk through the doors and they come into Starship UK.
They then go through the blue doors into the TARDIS.
Which, as you can see, with all the copper and the organic walls, the time rotor, this will be quite impressive when people walk into here.
From there, they go through the transition corridor and into the Dalek spaceship.
People stand around here. You have, there'll be one of the Emperor Daleks that will come through there. There's lots of noise, light, smoke. There'll be flashes and bangs.
The Doctor is an enemy of the Daleks. He is not to be trusted.
You're going to really get close up to those Daleks and almost be able to touch them if you dare. They then come out of there and through another sort of corridor, which is the forest and Weeping Angels.
We've got trees and we've got spooky lighting and sounds and smoke, and we've got some of the angels in here as well.
And from there they go underground into the Pandorica.
Again, we have the big screen with the Pandorica on the set in the stone, and the screen opens, and this is a 3D production in here.
That is going to be a showstopper, and then when they come out of there, this is all the free flow area.
And this reveals the David Tennant TARDIS. The barriers will go up onto the TARDIS here, which will bring you down, and they'll follow the inside of this line here and bring you off at the end there, so you can actually get this close to the TARDIS console. This is the Walk Like a Monster studio. There's a monitor up on the wall here with some mirrors across the back there, and they'll be in there walking up and down, pretending to be Cybermen and you know all the other creatures that are there. That is pretty much it, the Doctor Who experience. You've done it. You've been in, you've been all the way around, and you're out the other end, and you've survived it.
Very enjoyable experience. I think my kids loved it. And it took me back to my childhood as well.
I did enjoy the exhibition. I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
I liked the 3D cinema. It was brilliant. I'd recommend it to people who haven't seen Doctor Who as well as people who have, because you can learn what Doctor Who's about. But also, if you like Doctor Who, then you'll love it.
It was interactive, so we all got to do a bit. We weren't just standing there.
It's amazing. It's like you're actually in Doctor Who yourself.
It does manage to get you at the heart of an episode, I think. And just the environments that you go in and the way it's lit and the smoke and, you know, that's all the Doctor Who stuff. Yeah, but it's really good, man. I want to go on it again.
It was amazing. It was great. I don't believe I did it. I want to do it again now.